Oh god. Okay. So I took Cory to see the Raid 2 without him watching the first Raid.
Nope.
I can't feel my legs or my back anymore.
That's just Evan.
No, that's just how
That's just Evan.
that's just how intense.
Evan.
No, that's just
Evan.
that's just how intense this
Evan.
movie
That's
is.
just Evan.
No, because as the final fight was happening, I could feel sharp pings in my back, going, "Oh God, I can't take much more of this movie. It's so much. There's so much."
You don't like getting cut in the back out and leg? You know, watching people get cut in the back.
I don't know how the human body can handle that kind of I don't know
Adrenaline.
that kind of adrenaline or choreography or fluidity or just any sense of momentum or movement quite like in this movie. The Raid 2 is freaking insane. Even compared to the first one, which pretty much all the good things you could say about the first movie, which was basically
Tons and tons of action, I'd assume.
Yeah. Well, more so than this movie, because that one's an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. But and it's relatively much more pared down, and it's basically scene after scene after scene.
When did you see the Raid?
Raid?
One?
The first Raid I saw it back in 2012 with my dad in the theaters.
Okay, so your dad was there.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah.
No, well,
were you old enough yet?
Yeah, well, I've seen much more violent movies before that movie.
Oh.
Well,
as long as your parents were there.
Yeah, but I don't think my dad liked that movie, probably because how insane it is. So that's why I'm seeing it with you now.
It was so hard to follow.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw.
Did the phone move? I don't know. I feel like I'm more out of place now. All right. Anyways,
Well, it's been a while since I've seen a completely subtitled movie, and I assume
that was the other thing. If you're gonna show a movie in the U.S., it's kind of more.
It's kind of
logical to dub the movie.
Well, it's kind of an art movie. Well, it's an indie movie. Sony Picture Classics. There's just they're the kind of studio that preserves the movie the way they were meant to be seen or the way they were originally conceived.
You could. I'm sure we have technology to alter it into the same voice but in English.
That was the confusing part where the lead bad guy, all the lead bad guys, they all started speaking English at one point, even though they were supposed to be speaking Japanese or something. That was kind of confusing, but
everything was confusing. The first scene.
Okay,
the transition from the first scene, the prison.
that was just the guy that was just Gareth Evans. Was it Gareth Evans?
I don't know.
It was the credits.
I can't look at all the credits. I can't see every name.
Whereas the first movie was I was trying to get to was this. You could call it the absolute perfect execution of an action movie, where almost pretty much every single aspect of it from just
it was an arcade game. From what I hear
Exactly.
from Evan, it was
Basically,
an arcade game.
Basically, it's just scene after scene. It's just scene after scene after scene. It's just floor, fight a bunch of bad guys. Floor, fight a bunch of bad guys.
That
floor.
were harder.
Yeah, basically, they all just brought any varying number of bad guys with any varying numbers of blunt or sharp weaponry versus any number of environmental hazards. And again, in terms of just being an action movie, that first one was basically flawless as you can be, where basically every single aspect from the script, from the scripting and pacing to the direction to even the cinematography and production design were all meant to just sort of hone in and focus on the choreography and intensity of all the fight scenes. And that holds true basically here, though. To me, what makes this less good of an action movie, sort of, and compared to the first one, is that
I'm interested.
Is that Gareth Evans, he somehow manages to fit in this sort of convoluted giant mob story with all these sort of artsy elements to it, all these very artful shots of when Rama, who's undercover now, because after this movie allegedly takes, well, it starts off like 2 hours right after the ending of the first raid. And now he's undercover. He's like in this like deep undercover operation, which I'll get to later about the sort of the logic of the operation. He separates from his family for like years and years and years, and like they have all these shots where like he's sort of just silently pondering.
Is this the first one or the?
I'm talking about the second one right now.
No, it's only 3 at most. No more than 3.
2 or 3 hours.
No more than 3 years from.
No, I mean like no. The movie starts.
No, but you're saying he has to spend all his time away from family.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like how when the movie starts, like when he's being interrogated by the secret agent and the head secret agent, like that's like 2-3 hours right after the first movie.
How the heck does he get out of that? They never show that.
What?
They don't show how he gets out of that.
What, the secret agent thing?
Wait, who got shot?
that was like one of the corrupt cops from the first movie.
Ah.
I didn't remember that guy was a corrupt cop, but honestly, because like they basically kill off the entire cast of that first movie outside of Rama. But anyway, back to where I was going with.
Rama?
That was the lead guy.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have all these Artsier shots, like when he finally gets to call his wife after like 2 years, and he's like, "Let me hear my child," and all like the shot that never shows his child. It's just like it's the shots about him. Okay, here's like the phone, and it just like it tracks them following the phone at the very edge. All these like very symmetrical.
What do you have against it?
What?
What do you have against it?
I don't have it. It's just.
What's your point about this?
This just kind of takes away time from like the.
All right, I don't think a movie that's solely action, like action every scene, like maybe like action minute break and then action is a very good movie. I just don't see how that could be.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying like
you're like what I'm getting from you is that they're trying to do other stuff. It's taken away from the action. It's not getting as good anymore. That's what I'm getting from you.
Oh, yeah, okay, I mean, I probably was coming off that way, but I was probably trying to get to like how like this movie was trying a lot more different things. And I appreciate that, and the majority of the time it works. But man, that first hour and like 15 minutes, it was kind of sort of a test of patience.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
What?
I think it was a good balance.
Yeah.
You said it was a test of patience. How is that a good balance?
Well, like, it was a test of patience for someone who's seen the first movie. Because, like, and again, having to expect,
Stop
like...
comparing it to the first movie. That's the first movie. This is the second
But you haven't seen.
Yeah.
So we're coming from two different points of view.
So you've seen plenty of other movies that I haven't seen. And you say they're good, but I think they're a test of patience, too. But, you know, I don't go, oh, it was good, but it was a test of patience. I'll be like, no, it's a test of patience. It's alright. But you're being like wishy-washy. Definitive. People don't like these ambiguous vocab words, SAT words. Not that we're doing that anymore.
Anyway, like, yeah, like, I appreciate, like, the expansion of all these elements, even the elements, just like again, like all these artsy elements that sort of promote this idea of serenity and honor, especially with the incorporation of more Japanese and Indonesian cultures. And again, all these classic like mobster elements. Like again, this movie like has been compared to this movie has been called the Godfather 2 of action movies, and it's at least in terms of like the scope of it, yeah. Like it's wildly big. It's 2.5 hours of sort of like excessive violence, and it's amazing.
It's also very bloody.
Yes, it is. When you get down to it, like the Raid 2, it's like this is the kind of movie that's hard for me, both hard and then like very easy to recommend. It's this kind of really kind of the person
type of person.
Yeah. Like if you can handle a lot of blood and gore and stuff like that, then this.
Which is more common in men, just saying.
I know that happened like last week when my dad and I went to see Captain America, and this guy and his lady friend were like picked a pair of like tickets to see the Raid instead, but like since the lady was getting the ticket, she called it the first movie, so it was clear she didn't really care. Only because like the guy was really, really insistent on seeing the Raid instead of Captain America. Even though like honestly the Captain America shares like some of the same like action like beats.
Different action.
It was like same kind of like focus on martial arts and like high frenetic like direction, but like.
Nah.
Well then it has all the blockbuster
it's
stuff.
Half and half.
And this movie is like.
It's action, and discontinuous story.
Yeah, because again, like I can barely keep track of like how many like different side characters, like gangster like archetypes, or double crosses, or like who was on what side and stuff like that.
That's just
because you have it's basically like all these bad guys and Rama, and all the bad guys just sort of double cross each other at some point.
And Eka.
What?
And Eka.
Eka. Oh yeah, Eka. Spoilers, Cory. Well, we don't know. I don't even know what's.
Oh, okay.
But I guess
we've only been ranting for how long? It says 11 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And now we say spoiler alert. Okay. All right, that makes perfect sense.
Anyway, like. Can we just talk about a little bit, like the main appeal of the movie, the action?
I thought you talked about that for 12 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, what do you have to say about it, other than blood and gore, blood and gore, blood and gore?
That's what the movie is, blood and gore. That's followed by the action.
Man, won't you say anything about?
From the action.
Don't you want to say anything about the choreography or?
He moves really fast.
And really,
I cannot do that, and most people cannot do that.
Normally, with action movies, like when we do these reviews, we usually try to like poorly imitate them. Here, we're not even gonna try. Like basically all the moves and choreography they do.
As fast as I can punch, if I showed you as fast as I can punch Evan twice, he'll get 5 punches in the movie.
Yeah. Like no, like there was this moment in the beginning movie where like since he's like
the beginning movie
in the beginning of the movie, like he's training and he's punching like the wall of his prison cell, and like he's moving fast, and Cory goes like whoa.
He's bleeding. I thought he was gonna punch through the wall.
He kind of did.
He was starting to chip it, but I thought he was gonna like just go boom like Captain America.
The man's basically Captain Indonesia. Sergeant Indonesia. He took down at the very end. He took down like at least like 37 different people in the span of like 15 minutes of the movie.
More than that.
Yeah. No, like this movie has like the mother of like all car chases because it's like a fist fight within a car.
2 cars.
Spanning across like actually like more like 4 cars because like there's like 3 of like the big Jeeps.
It was like 2 car chases.
It's like. Well, like there was only
like a car chase and a car chase.
Yeah.
It was.
But there was
him trying to chase this car, but then the 2 other cars that were supposed to support the car. Chases him.
And on top of that, you have a martial arts fighting scene within that car while like there's other cars chasing them while they're shooting at each other and while they're avoiding all the traffic and.
No, they don't do a very good of avoiding traffic.
It looks great. Again, like this 2014 so far has been a really good year for like real car chases, or like real like practical like car stunts and effects. It's really great.
Real car chases. I'm sure that happened.
Yeah, it's very doable as long as like you're willing to do it or say it.
Why people?
Because it looks good.
They should just get the framework and stuff.
Generally, that's what they do. Yeah.
All right, as long as they're not like just trashing a perfectly good car.
And then you have all like the same like
I could use. I could get my own. Just give it to me.
And you have all like the signature that assume now signature amazingly horrible kills that the raid has done. Like in the first one, you had basically a guy. They have one guy impaled by like the splinters of like a door, and one guy who has his neck sliced by like a fluorescent light tube. And here you have hammers, and then entire shotgun blast to the head, and then like guy who's getting his face grilled off in half.
Bats and baseballs.
That was an incredibly weird character.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird side characters though. Weird, like they have this one blind, not blind, deaf assassin, like femme fatale character who has no name, but like she just dual wields hammers and like beats everyone like no one's problem. Though I was like curious why you make her deaf and like you don't have a scene like that was entirely from her perspective, where you have like no sound effects, but you have only visual.
Why not make her deaf?
What?
Why not?
I'm not saying like.
I mean,
it makes her.
Nothing happened. Nothing changed.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it makes her a little bit more. It adds like another like interesting character on top of like a lot of characters with like interesting traits. But like I felt like I could imagine a scene where like you had an entire fight scene from her perspective where like you don't hear any sound effects. You just see action in action, and maybe you had music or like no music, but like.
But then it's not as dramatic.
Yeah, but like I feel like if you plan that ahead,
it doesn't matter.
If you plan that execution ahead,
it doesn't matter. They made her deaf because they wanted to.
But yeah, honestly, that's probably as much as we're gonna go into the movie. Either way, like it's a hard movie to sort of. It's an incredible action movie, but
and we're done.